If you've ever wondered how someone with ADHD can hyperfocus for 10 straight hours on something they love but can't start a 5-minute task they want to do, this video will change how you see ADHD forever, because ADHD isn't a lack of motivation, it's a dopamine paradox. And once you understand it, everything starts to make sense. ADHD is often described as distractibility, forgetfulness, or poor self-control. But that explanation falls apart the moment you meet someone with ADHD who's deeply passionate. They're intense, creative, driven, capable of extreme focus. So how can the same brain produce extraordinary passion and crippling procrastination? The answer isn't discipline, it isn't laziness, it's dopamine. If this has ever made you feel broken or ashamed, keep watching. Because this isn't a character flaw, it's neuroscience. Most people think dopamine equals pleasure. It doesn't. Dopamine is about anticipation, urgency, and drive. It answers one question: is this worth doing right now? In neurotypical brains, dopamine rises steadily for tasks that are important, even if they're boring. But in ADHD brains, dopamine regulation works differently. Baseline dopamine is lower, which means tasks don't automatically feel worth starting until something spikes interest. When something sparks interest in an ADHD brain, curiosity, novelty, urgency, emotion, dopamine floods the system. This is hyperfocus, not a superpower you can control, but a neurological response to dopamine alignment. During hyperfocus, distractions fade, time disappears. Effort feels effortless. The brain isn't trying harder. It's finally receiving enough dopamine to function smoothly. This is why ADHD isn't a lack of focus. It's inconsistent access to focus. Here's the part most people get wrong, and it explains procrastination completely. When a task feels boring, unclear, or overwhelming, the ADHD brain doesn't just dislike it. It experiences dopamine scarcity. And dopamine scarcity feels like mental fog, physical heaviness, emotional resistance, paralysis. This is executive dysfunction, not "I don't want to, but I can't initiate." The brain isn't choosing procrastination. It's protecting itself from dopamine depletion. That's why guilt, pressure, and shame make it worse, not better. So here's the paradox. ADHD brains can produce intense drive and total inertia, depending entirely on dopamine alignment. Same person, same intelligence, same values, different neurochemical conditions. This is why ADHD productivity looks inconsistent from the outside, but perfectly logical from the inside. This next part is where the reframe happens, and it's the most important thing in this video. ADHD isn't a broken version of a neurotypical brain. It's a context-driven operating system. Neurotypical brains are priority-driven. ADHD brains are interest-driven. One is steady, the other is explosive. This wiring fuels creativity, innovation, pattern recognition, emotional depth, nonlinear problem-solving. But it struggles with arbitrary deadlines, delayed rewards, abstract importance. That's not failure. That's mismatch. You can't will dopamine into existence. Telling someone with ADHD to just focus is like telling someone to just see better. Effort doesn't create dopamine. Environment does. That's why ADHD strategies work best when they add novelty, create urgency, introduce interest, reduce ambiguity, not when they rely on willpower. If you've spent your life feeling like you're failing at things that matter to you, this next part is for you. When ADHD is framed as a moral failing, people internalize shame. But when it's understood as a dopamine regulation system, something changes. Procrastination becomes information. Hyperfocus becomes a signal. Struggles become solvable, not shameful. You don't need to become someone else. You need systems that work with your brain. If this helped you understand ADHD differently, hit like so more people see this. Subscribe for more content that explains how ADHD actually works, without shame. And comment below, What's something you can hyperfocus on for hours, but procrastinate starting for weeks? You're not broken. You're just running a different operating system. Our brains thrive on connection. Let us hear from you. How does your ADHD influence your daily life? When do you feel alive with focus? And when do you feel trapped by tasks? Let's start an open discussion to share insights and support each other. Together, we can redefine what it means to live with ADHD. It's not just about challenges. It's about potential, growth, and learning to navigate in a way that fits you personally. Remember, understanding ADHD is a journey, not a destination. Keep learning, keep exploring, and let your unique way of seeing the world illuminate your path forward.